Alright, let's be real for a sec. This ain't one of those to-the-moon hype videos, man. This is different. Because right now, something's cooking with Filecoin, and barely anyone's paying attention. I'm talking about heavy wallets, big money, whales quietly moving in while retail is still sleeping. You see the thumbnail, you saw the title. Filecoin FIL is the next 100x coin. Bro, this ain't clickbait. It's literally what's happening behind the charts, behind the headlines, behind the noise. And if you skip this, you're going to be that guy watching it explode later saying, "Damn, I should have seen it coming." Here's the crazy part. On-chain data doesn't lie. Over the last few weeks, massive wallets have been stacking FIL. Not just random traders. We're talking deep-pocketed institutions, the kind of players that don't care about a 10% dip, they care about owning the next infrastructure layer of Web3. It's wild, bro, because while everyone's arguing about meme coins, the suits are loading up Filecoin like it's 2017 Bitcoin all over again. Now listen to this. You ever heard that phrase, follow the money? Yeah, in crypto, it's follow the quiet money. Because smart money moves before the headlines. They won't see them tweeting, "I'm bullish on Filecoin." Nah, they'll be buying while you're scrolling past memes on X. The data shows accumulation spikes from wallets linked to known institutional desks. That's not noise. That's precision. That's a play being built under the radar. And here's where it gets real interesting. Social sentiment on FIL is still super low, barely trending, not in the top 20 hashtags, almost zero hype. And that's exactly how these guys like it. They build positions when nobody's talking. That's how they turn a 10 million position into 500 million later. While retail screams, "Pump it," they're the ones already sitting on profits before it even moves. If you're watching this right now, I'm telling you, you're early to the whisper phase, the stage before the headlines, the point where information isn't loud yet, but opportunity's massive. That's where the real 100x stories begin. And that's why this moment feels different. You can feel it, like that calm before the breakout. Now let's talk psychology for a second. Remember when Ethereum was under $100 and no one cared? Or when Solana was $3 and people said it's over? Same energy, same disbelief, same silence. That silence is your signal. Because smart investors don't chase noise, they buy when it's quiet. And right now, Filecoin's volume patterns, whale inflows, and Grayscale's recent portfolio updates are all screaming one thing: the quiet money is already here. You can literally see the footprints. Look at Grayscale. They've been increasing their file holdings like crazy. And you don't move millions of dollars into a token unless you know something's coming. These guys play long-term games. They don't trade trends, they buy narratives before they go mainstream. And what's the narrative here? Simple. Data is the new oil. The world's drowning in AI-generated data, and it needs somewhere decentralized, secure, and scalable to store it. That's exactly what Filecoin was built for. The foundation's been there since day one, but now the timing's finally right. AI boom, Web3 infrastructure, data monetization, everything's aligning. Still not convinced? Let's flip it. Why would institutions care about Filecoin now after 2 years of silence? Because they see what's coming. Filecoin 2.0, compute over data, partnerships expanding, and the market is still underpricing it like it's 2022. The same pattern happens every cycle. Institutions front run, retail FOMOs in later, and then everyone tweets, "Wish I bought earlier." The on-chain whale wallets are showing consistent inflows, not flips. That's conviction. That's long-term positioning. And when the guys who moved Bitcoin from 3K to 60K start circling a project like this, man, you pay attention. You don't fade that. You might be thinking, bro, is this really a 100x setup? And that's fair. But here's the thing. Every 100x starts as disbelief. Every time. It's never obvious at the start. It's quiet, it's boring, it's technical. Then one headline hits, one fund announces exposure, and boom, the narrative explodes. You don't want to be watching that from the sidelines. I'm not saying go all in. This ain't financial advice. I'm saying understand the setup. Filecoin's current valuation, storage capacity, institutional activity, it's all pointing towards an inflection point. When supply tightens and demand spikes, math takes over. And if the hype cycle reignites with the AI plus storage narrative, Filecoin could go from ignored to inevitable real quick. And listen, I get it. Crypto's full of noise, scams, hype coins, but this one, it's got structure, it's got backing, it's got purpose. You can feel when a project's narrative starts to shift, when people who never mentioned it suddenly start tracking it. That's what's happening right now. The energy's shifting. The smart money already knows it. But here's the wild part. This isn't even the main story. The real reason behind this accumulation, the thing that could make all this 100x talk actually make sense, that's what comes next. Because once you find out who's really backing this move, the names, the networks, the institutions building under the surface, that's when this entire puzzle clicks into place. So stick around, don't blink, because in the next part, we're diving deep into who's actually behind this quiet accumulation. And trust me, once you see that list, you'll understand exactly why the whales are loading up like they already know the ending.
Yo, listen up. This ain't some random Reddit rumor, all right? Wall Street's fingerprints are all over Filecoin right now. And if you can't see it, you're not looking close enough. The same suits who front-ran Bitcoin, who silently bought Ethereum before retail even woke up, yeah, those guys, they're quietly stacking FIL while everyone's still chasing the next meme coin pump. Bro, this is that moment where you realize the game's already being played and most people don't even know it started. Follow the suits, not the tweets. That's the golden rule, because tweets move emotions, but suits move billions. And right now, the data doesn't lie. Grayscale just boosted their Filecoin holdings to record highs. Coinbase Custody is quietly managing more FIL than ever. Big data-driven funds, the same ones connected to AI and cloud infrastructure, are accumulating too. You don't need a conspiracy chart to see it. You just gotta look where the money's flowing. Now here's where it gets wild. These aren't hype chasers. These guys don't care about short-term green candles. They play long-term chess while retail plays checkers. They're not buying Filecoin for a 2x. They're building exposure to the future of decentralized data storage, and they're doing it quietly, the way smart money always does. Why? Because they know what's coming. They know the next big narrative after the AI explosion isn't new tokens. It's the infrastructure that supports the AI world. Every AI model, every LLM, every Web3 project needs one thing: data, storage. And not the centralized, hackable kind, decentralized, censorship-resistant, verifiable storage. That's Filecoin's entire reason for existing. It's not a hype project, it's a backbone project. Think about it. We're entering an era where data is literally the new gold. Every second, terabytes are generated by AI systems, cameras, IoT devices. Someone's got to store that securely, forever. That's what these institutions see. They don't see a coin, they see a digital asset infrastructure play. They're not buying Filecoin because it looks cool. They're buying because it solves a trillion-dollar problem before the world even wakes up to it. Grayscale didn't randomly up their position. They're not gamblers. They have teams of analysts, legal experts, tech researchers. For them to greenlight more FIL means something's shifting under the surface. Either regulatory comfort, enterprise adoption, or long-term integration with AI data layers. And when Grayscale moves, others follow. It's like a signal to the entire institutional space saying it's safe to come in now. Coinbase Custody, same deal. You think they'd allocate storage space, compliance time, and liquidity management for some random coin? No chance. When they start managing FIL custody solutions, it's because they see incoming demand from funds that haven't even disclosed positions yet. That's how this game works. Custody comes before capital inflow. They build the pipeline first, then money starts flowing through it. Bro, the craziest part, most retail investors still think Filecoin is that old project from 2021. They have no clue that the biggest players are quietly building around it again. That's how early you are right now. While people on TikTok are chasing the next meme trend, the real money is setting up the rails for the next decade of Web3 infrastructure. You can literally feel it. The energy is shifting. The charts might not scream breakout yet, but under the hood, liquidity and accumulation are speaking louder than any influencer. And that's how every institutional cycle starts. Slow, boring, unnoticed, until one morning it's trending everywhere and people say, "When did this happen?" Spoiler, it's happening right now. Let's break it down simply. Filecoin is aligning with two mega narratives: AI and decentralized storage. Combine those and you get the perfect storm. AI needs massive storage and Web3 needs security. FIL offers both. Imagine being the bridge that connects trillion-dollar data industries with blockchain verification. That's not a moonshot, that's an inevitability. And the suits know it. They've seen this movie before. Remember when data centers became the backbone of the internet boom? Same thing, new era. Filecoin is that next-gen data center, but on-chain and open to everyone. That's why institutional money is sniffing around, because they understand long-term value, not short-term noise. You can call it whatever you want, accumulation, positioning, front-running, but the point is the big dogs are here. You can either ignore it and chase hype later, or you can pay attention while it's still quiet. Because once CNBC starts talking about AI-backed decentralized storage, it's already over. That's when you'll see the headlines, but by then, they'll be selling to you. And if you think this is just another short-term pump, think again. These institutions are not preparing for a month or two. They're preparing for the next cycle. They're connecting AI, blockchain, and storage at a scale we haven't seen before. The kind of shift that flips entire sectors. Now here's where it gets real. This isn't just about buying Filecoin. It's about what comes next. Because there's a twist coming that's going to make everything we've talked about make perfect sense. The institutions aren't just accumulating FIL, they're positioning ahead of a massive ecosystem upgrade, something that changes how Filecoin actually functions at its core. So yeah, Wall Street's fingerprints are everywhere, and that should already make your antennas go up. But what if I told you this accumulation isn't just about current utility, but about a new Filecoin 2.0 ecosystem that could completely flip the narrative? The kind of update that turns a storage token into a decentralized data compute machine? Yeah, that's what we're diving into next. Because once you understand why they're buying before that upgrade hits, you'll realize this 100x theory might not be theory at all.
Yo, hold up. This ain't your average crypto update, all right? Filecoin 2.0 ain't just another boring upgrade. It's straight up a weapon in the decentralized world. Bro, if you think Filecoin was just a storage token before, you're sleeping on the future right now. The new roadmap flips everything on its head. Smart contracts, compute over data, AI storage layers. It's like AWS, OpenAI, and blockchain all mashed together into one insane ecosystem. Picture this. Normally, companies have to rent servers, manage compliance, build pipelines, pay insane fees, all just to run AI or store massive datasets. Filecoin 2.0 says, nah, we got you. Decentralized, verified, scalable, and ready for the AI boom. That's why you're seeing big players stacking FIL early, quietly, before anyone tweets about it. They don't wait for headlines. They move when the tech and infrastructure line up perfectly. And here's the kicker. Smart contracts on Filecoin 2.0 aren't just for swapping tokens. They allow computation to happen on top of stored data. That means AI models could run directly on decentralized datasets without ever leaving the chain. Think about the implications. Privacy, efficiency, transparency. You're no longer just storing information, you're actually doing work on it, all decentralized, all verified. That's a game changer straight up. Now let's talk scale. Filecoin 2.0 is building an AI storage layer that could rival traditional cloud providers. Imagine the billions of dollars currently flowing into AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. A chunk of that could eventually migrate to decentralized storage that's more secure, cheaper, and fully auditable. The whales know this. Institutions aren't dumb. They're front-running a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure play disguised as a token. And emotional FOMO? It's real. You feel it in the charts, you see it in wallet inflows, you smell it in the news. Retail doesn't get it yet, but smart money is moving like they've already seen the movie. They're not here for the hype. They're here for the structural bet, the kind that flips decades of centralized control on its head. That's why this isn't just another altcoin pump. It's a narrative shift. To make it simple for everyone listening, imagine you could combine AWS's storage, OpenAI's compute power, and blockchain's transparency into a single system. That's Filecoin 2.0. It's not a dream. It's already being built. And the more you realize how much this changes the rules of the game, the more you see why institutional investors are loading up before headlines even exist. But if you think that's wild, wait till you see the scale of real data this network already controls. We're talking petabytes of verified information, stored and managed in a decentralized way, powering real-world applications.
AI startups, Web3 projects, even DePIN initiatives are leveraging Filecoin storage, all under the radar. That means while retail focuses on meme coins or short-term charts, the real foundation of the next-gen internet is quietly growing. And the irony? Most people still think Filecoin is just a storage coin from a few years back. They don't see the compute layers, the smart contracts, the AI integrations. They don't see the network effect building quietly. That's why you get this massive potential for a 100x setup. The narrative hasn't caught up with reality yet. You've got whales stacking, institutions front-running, and developers building infrastructure that could power the AI world for years. Filecoin 2.0 is more than storage. It's a platform that can process, verify, and compute over data, all decentralized, all scalable. This isn't hype, bro. This is structural advantage, and the players who see it now will reap the rewards later. And the suspense? That's just heating up. Because in the next part, we're going to break down how much real-world data is already flowing through Filecoin. I'm talking about partnerships, enterprise storage, AI datasets, stuff that's too massive for retail to even imagine. When you see the actual footprint, the scale, the power of this network, you'll understand exactly why this 100x potential isn't fantasy, it's already in motion. So buckle up, because what comes next changes everything you thought you knew about Filecoin. The whales, the institutions, the network growth, it's all converging, and if you blink, you might miss it. The groundwork for the next-gen decentralized internet is being laid right now, and Filecoin 2.0 is at the center of it.
Yo, let's get real. You ever stop and think about who's actually controlling the backbone of the internet? I'm not talking about ISPs or big tech monopolies. I'm talking about the hidden layer that powers data, AI, and Web3 apps. Bro, Filecoin is already owning the pipes, and most people have no clue. They think it's just a storage coin, some relic from a few years back. Nah, man, this is way bigger. The whales, the institutions, the smart money, they're literally holding the world's data receipts, and that's the part nobody's talking about. Picture a global map lighting up with Filecoin nodes. Terabytes, petabytes flowing across continents, partnerships stacking like Legos, and decentralized storage growing quietly under the radar. You see it on chain if you look close enough, and the institutions see it even clearer. They're not buying hype, they're buying control of infrastructure. Bro, they're not selling dreams, they're literally buying the foundation of the next-gen internet. Think about AI for a second. AI can't run without data. Every single model, every LLM, every predictive algorithm relies on massive, verified datasets. And who owns those datasets in a decentralized, secure, and scalable way? Filecoin does. That's why these whales are stacking. That's why the institutions are quietly moving millions in while retail still sleeps. They know the hard drives of Web3 are worth a fortune, and they're front-running before the public even realizes it. And it's not just random numbers. Real-world adoption is happening. Startups, AI research labs, even enterprise-scale applications are leveraging Filecoin storage. The network's growing silently, nodes expanding, and partnerships forming with actual utility. While Twitter's blowing up about meme coins, the real infrastructure is being built in plain sight. The pipes, bro, the actual data flow that fuels everything decentralized is already in their hands. Now here's the thing that gives me goosebumps. Price action is nowhere near reflecting these fundamentals. Charts are flat, social sentiment is lukewarm, but the network is growing exponentially. That's what makes this setup crazy. The market hasn't woken up yet. FOMO hasn't hit retail. Most people are still doubting, still questioning, still stuck on the old narrative. Meanwhile, whales and institutions are quietly accumulating the backbone of Web3. And the psychology is insane. You know how FOMO hits hardest when retail finally realizes what smart money already knows? That moment hasn't come yet, and that's the edge you can catch. The network's adoption, the nodes, the partnerships, fundamentals are running ahead of price. That's why the 100x theory is still alive and why savvy players are quietly riding this wave before the masses notice. And it's not just random numbers. Real-world adoption is happening. Startups, AI research labs, even enterprise-scale applications are leveraging Filecoin storage. The network's growing silently, nodes expanding, and partnerships forming with actual utility. While Twitter's blowing up about meme coins, the real infrastructure is being built in plain sight. The pipes, bro, the actual data flow that fuels everything decentralized is already in their hands. Now here's the thing that gives me goosebumps. Price action is nowhere near reflecting these fundamentals. Charts are flat,
Social sentiment is lukewarm, but the network is growing exponentially. That's what makes this setup crazy. The market hasn't woken up yet. FOMO hasn't hit retail. Most people are still doubting, still questioning, still stuck on the old narrative. Meanwhile, whales and institutions are quietly accumulating the backbone of Web3. And the psychology is insane. You know how FOMO hits hardest when retail finally realizes what smart money already knows? That moment hasn't come yet, and that's the edge you can catch. The network's adoption, the nodes, the partnerships, fundamentals are running ahead of price. That's why the 100x theory is still alive and why savvy players are quietly riding this wave before the masses notice. And every transaction, every stored terabyte, every verified dataset adds value to the network. It's not hype, it's utility. And the more AI adoption grows, the more Filecoin's role becomes non-negotiable. Think about it. The global demand for data storage, decentralized verification, and computation is exploding. Who's already prepared? Filecoin 2.0 running in the background, securing this data, powering the next wave of AI-driven apps. Bro, it's like watching someone quietly build skyscrapers while everyone else is staring at tents. And when retail finally notices, the narrative flips instantly and price action could spike hard and fast. That's the magic of being early to the infrastructure play. The whales, the institutions, they already know it. They've positioned themselves before anyone tweets a single bullish prediction. And here's where it gets spicy. Because fundamentals are running ahead of price, this isn't just about storage anymore. It's about ownership of critical digital infrastructure. The pipes, the networks, the nodes, the verified data, that's what gives Filecoin leverage. And leverage in crypto is everything. When the market catches up, that's when the FOMO hits hard. People will look back and realize the network was already dominating while they were late to the party. So keep your eyes peeled, because the next part is going to blow your mind. We're going to break down why this disconnect between price and fundamentals could be the biggest opportunity of the year. And trust me, once you see it, you'll understand why the 100x theory isn't just hype, it's baked into the structure of the network itself. The pipes are owned, the infrastructure is growing, and retail hasn't even realized they're late to the game.
Yo, check this out. Nobody's even pricing in what's happening with Filecoin right now, and that's exactly why this setup could be insane. Bro, this isn't your average pump talk. This is math, logic, and raw opportunity all rolled into one. We're talking circulating supply, locked supply, institutional demand, and historical all-time highs. The full blueprint for a potential generational setup. Look at the numbers, fam. The circulating supply is tight, way tighter than most retail realizes. Whales and institutions are stacking consistently, locking tokens for the long term. That's not casual accumulation, that's strategy. You've got Grayscale increasing positions, Coinbase Custody managing more than ever, and a network of smaller funds quietly buying while social sentiment stays flat. That's the kind of structural pressure that makes the 100x talk feel more real than ever. Now do the math. Historically, FIL hit its all-time highs, but that was during a period of hype and speculative trading. Compare that to now, lower supply on exchanges, higher institutional ownership, growing real-world usage, and Filecoin 2.0 about to flip the script with smart contracts and AI storage layers. If this thing even sniffs its old top, that's a 5 to 6x for early movers. But if the institutions keep stacking like they're doing, we're talking generational setup vibes, the kind that rarely comes around in crypto cycles. The FOMO factor is insane here. You can feel it in the wallet inflows, in the quiet accumulation on-chain, in the subtle announcements about partnerships. Everyone else is sleeping while the smart money is building the foundation for a massive move. And the crazy part? Retail doesn't even see it yet. They're too busy chasing shiny meme coins while the infrastructure play is quietly setting itself up for a blow-off run that could catch everyone by surprise. And let's talk rational hype. This isn't just buy because hype energy. This is grounded in numbers, fundamentals, and real adoption. Filecoin storage network is growing, AI-driven datasets are expanding, and institutions are positioning ahead of the mainstream adoption curve. The combination of locked supply, institutional stacking, and growing demand sets up a perfect storm. But here's the thing, you can't just FOMO blindly. While this setup is massive, you got to be aware of the risks too. Historical volatility in crypto can wipe gains if you're not careful. Regulatory announcements, network hiccups, or sudden unlocks of tokens could temporarily shake the market. That's why understanding the numbers and keeping an eye on both fundamentals and technical signals is crucial.
The generational setup vibe isn't just about potential upside. It's about timing, positioning, and patience. Those who understand the accumulation patterns, the locked supply, and the growing institutional demand are already planning their moves carefully. They're not chasing FOMO. They're waiting for the precise moment when the market finally wakes up to what's already happening. And let me tell you, the disconnect between price and fundamentals right now is the golden opportunity. Most people see a flat chart and think nothing's happening, but behind the scenes, the foundations for massive growth are already being laid. That's why early movers who understand this structural setup could see gains that others will only dream about once the narrative hits mainstream. So stay locked in, because in the next part, we're diving deep into the risk side. I'll break down what could wreck this run if you're not careful, the things that could slow down or even temporarily reverse this accumulation play, and how to navigate it without losing your edge. You gotta understand both the upside and the potential pitfalls, because the people who crush it in crypto aren't just lucky, they're informed. This 100x setup is real, it's massive, and it's already building. But patience and awareness are key. The next segment is where the real game changers are revealed, where you'll see exactly what could go wrong if you jump in blind and how to position yourself smart before the hype finally erupts.
Yo, real talk, if you think this is all green candles and hype, hold up for a sec. Let's get grounded. Filecoin might be sitting on one of the craziest setups in crypto right now, but that doesn't mean it's without risk. You gotta respect the game, understand the landscape, and separate smart risk from dumb fear. Bro, this is where patience becomes the ultimate weapon, and conviction is what separates the winners from the people crying, "I missed it," later. First off, let's talk regulation. Crypto's evolving fast, and while Filecoin has been around for a while, governments are starting to scrutinize everything connected to decentralized storage, AI datasets, and tokenized assets. Nothing illegal is happening here, but any new rules or compliance requirements could shake the market temporarily. That's not a death sentence, it's just part of the environment you have to play smart in. You don't freak out, you plan ahead. Next, token unlocks. FIL isn't infinite, but there are scheduled releases and vesting periods. If a chunk of coins hits the market all at once, you could see temporary price pressure. Again, this isn't doom and gloom, it's just mechanics. The smart money knows how to navigate these windows. They position ahead, plan exits, and understand the market psychology around it. You gotta respect that if you want to play alongside them. Then there's storage demand volatility. AI, Web3 apps, and enterprise adoption are growing, but growth isn't linear. There will be dips, slow quarters, maybe even temporary loss of confidence in the short term. The trick is to focus on the long-term structural demand, not the short-term noise. The whales and institutions aren't shaking at every dip, and neither should you. Now here's where the emotional side kicks in. The market rewards patience, bro. Seriously, patience isn't boring, it's power. You could be watching the charts, feeling FOMO, seeing the narrative explode, but the real edge is in conviction. Knowing what you own, why you own it, and holding through volatility. That's what separates someone who misses the run from someone who rides it. And let's be honest, by the time everyone wakes up, it's already 100x too late. Retail will flood in, social media will explode, and the coin you're looking at quietly will be out of reach. But the early movers, the ones paying attention to fundamentals, accumulation, and the structural growth of Filecoin, they're already halfway up the mountain. That's the advantage of seeing the setup before the hype hits. Think about it visually. Nodes, partnerships, AI integration, storage networks growing quietly. The infrastructure is there, the demand is coming, and institutions are quietly stacking. You can see the foundations, the market hasn't caught up. The price might still be boring, but behind the scenes, the gears are turning, and when they start grinding publicly, it'll move fast and hard. Here's the FOMO truth. You don't have to panic buy or chase every candle. Smart risk means understanding the macro setup, the tokenomics, the real-world adoption, and the infrastructure growth. Dumb fear is selling because a dip hits or because headlines are negative for a day. The difference between these two mindsets can be the difference between 10x and 100x gains over time. And that's why Filecoin is such a rare play right now. It's structural, it's being built quietly, and the upside is massive.
But it also demands respect. You can't just FOMO in and hope for the best. You need conviction, patience, and awareness. Those are the tools that let you navigate the volatility and ride the wave while everyone else panics. So when you step back and look at the big picture, here's the final verdict. The upside is enormous, the network is growing, institutional stacking is real, and the setup is one of a kind. The risks are present, but manageable if you play smart. The market rewards patience. The early movers already know this. And as we wrap this up, think about the thumbnail you saw, the title you clicked, 100x loading. Maybe it's already halfway there. The infrastructure is built, the whales are in position, the narrative is growing. The only question left is, are you? Are you ready to see this setup through, understand the risks, respect the game, and potentially ride one of the insane crypto cycles of the decade? The opportunity is here, it's real, and it's happening quietly while most people are still sleeping.